Hey friends! I am 27 weeks pregnant today, which means there's only 13 weeks left, which means by all accounts and logic, I should be in the third trimester right now, but apparently officially that doesn't happen until next week. So I guess this is my first full official week of the second trimester? Okay, I'll take it. Something bit me, looks like a mosquito, like in the last 15 minutes, and it's as bothersome as it looks, honestly, but hubby's coming home early today because it's a holiday weekend, so we're a little bit pressed for time, and this doesn't look like it's going to get too much better if I wait anymore. So I might as well just jump into the update right now. We had a couple doctor's appointments this week. First, we saw the OB, which was a different OB than the one I typically see. It's just that my OB was not available in all of December and somebody needed to see me. So we saw somebody at a different location and she was great. My husband did not vibe with her as much. I really liked her, but in any case, we heard baby girl's heartbeat. She's doing great. She's moving so much. I was actually worried. I brought it up to the doctor, like, how frequently should she be moving? Because the last couple days, I feel like she's been kind of quiet, like she's still moving, but it's not like as aggressive, as violent as I'm used to it being. And the doctor's like, yeah, it's, that's normal to have some quieter days, some not so quiet days, as long as at least once a day, at her busiest time, you pick out 2 hours and you can count 10 kicks in those 2 hours, then you're good. And I was like, yeah, that's definitely something that's happening, so that's fine. And since then, I've been doing the kick count every day, which she said it's not really necessary until you get to 28 weeks. That's when they start really paying close attention to that, which is a departure from what my actual OB said, because I asked my OB about it and she said, no, we don't really do kick counts anymore. But this one said, yeah, we do them, but we just don't really count them until 28 weeks. But regardless, I've been sticking to that, and that's been a-okay. So I feel good about this. As a matter of fact, just last night, I was cracking up because I had my hand on my belly and she was kicking so hard that my husband from across the room could see my hand kind of coming up off my belly because she kept smacking me away. So we've already determined she's definitely going to be a dancer or performer of some kind because this little girl's personality, we're already starting to feel it, even in utero. While I was at the OB's office, I figured, you're an OB. You might not be my OB, but you're an OB, so let's not wait until next month when I see my own. Let's get this going as far as all the documentation that the insurance requires for both the doula and for the breast pump. And so they actually called to follow up with me today to make sure that they had all the documents that the insurance wanted so that they could send them out. So that's cool because that's already in progress. And speaking of the Doula network called me and they allowed me to select, like, do you have any preferences for people? Because they have all sorts of profiles on the website that show different doulas, the areas that they service, and then they're allowed to do like a blurb about themselves, basically why they got into doula work and like what their background is, whatever they choose to write. And there were a couple that I felt like I would really vibe with. My top choice also happens to be a registered nurse, so I like that she has both a doula training and a medical training background. And then the second one I picked, the person I picked as my second choice, she had a story very similar to mine. And I was actually training to be a doula before kiddo got his autism diagnosis. So I felt like if nothing else, she'll definitely understand where I'm coming from. And hopefully help me out accordingly. Hold on, the oven's beeping because I've been baking and recording all day. I'm doing my last bit of Vlogmas recording today, so it's been a really hectic day, but I wanted to make sure that I got this video done too before I ran out of time. So anyways, they did call me from the Doula network and they gave me the phone number to my first choice. And so I reached out to her today via text. Now I'm wondering if maybe her phone number that she gave me was not a cell number. So maybe I'll call on Monday. It's just with the holidays, it's also tricky because the timing's off. So like Monday's the day before Christmas Eve. And, but I do want to make sure that she knows that I am interested in talking to her. And I believe that she's available. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given her, like, she wouldn't have been assigned to my case. So hopefully that all works out, and then whatever happens with that, I'll obviously update you guys, and I'll let you know like what that process was like of picking a doula and what the doula is meant to do for me, because honestly, like, I have a kind of up in the air idea, but like I'm not certain exactly what it is that she can do for me once it gets right down to the nitty-gritty. So that might end up being its own video later on, depending on how this all goes. I am a week into doing my at-home gestational diabetes testing, and so far so good. There have been a couple readings that have been high. Not so high where it's like, oh my gosh, obviously there's a problem here that we need to intervene, but higher than they want them to be. And it so happens that, for example, one of my readings, they're supposed to always come out 2 hours after eating at 120 or lower. One of them came out at 137. So again, higher than 120, but it's not like it's at 200 or something wild like that. But, you know, higher than it should be. What did I eat for that meal? Mac and cheese and orange juice. So obviously such a carb heavy thing, I'm going to have a high sugar reaction. And if anything, that's just showing me that like I need to eat more balanced meals. If I'm gonna have something super carby, I need to balance it out with protein, or I need to eat something with fiber to slow down how my body breaks down those sugars and those carbs, etc., etc. So I don't know how the doctor's gonna feel about these, but the way I'm looking at it is, it's a learning opportunity. Now I know mac and cheese and orange juice is probably not a great meal in and of itself. I should be adding more things to balance it out. Another such reading last night for dinner, I was really craving Pollo Tropical, which is a Cuban restaurant chain if you're not from the area. And they specialize in these bowls that they call Tropi Chops. It's basically like chopped chicken, like grilled chicken, but then it comes with rice, beans, tomatoes, corn, onions, so all very sugary, carby grains and veggies, right? I ate that, and then I ate a cinnamon roll, and then 2 hours later my blood sugar was at 138. So again, it's not surprising whatsoever. So I'm just learning that little bit of chicken was not enough to counterbalance the rice, the beans, the tomatoes, the corn, the cinnamon roll, which I probably could have done without. So it's fine. I have another week of this. The week happens to include Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and a birthday party that my dad's throwing himself, where the whole point of the party is food. So, again, hopefully all that's taken into account, because I'm not going to go nuts, but I'm also not going to deprive myself of enjoying the holiday with my family, pregnant, etc., just because I want to pass a test. So let's see if I can find a good balance there, and maybe I end up having to repeat a week's worth of testing or whatever. But you know, that's fine. I'm actually at this present moment, I just got a text back from the doula saying, great, we can talk over the phone or a virtual meeting if that works for you. So I'll get back to her in a few minutes once I'm done talking to you guys, but things are happening. And then the other appointment I had was with sleep medicine. I had my CPAP checked out, and basically the point of the appointment was to try to get a prescription for a new mask, new tubing, new filters, all the things that come along with a CPAP that you're supposed to get replaced every X amount of time. But the medical supply company that provides those things needs a script from your doctor saying that you need them and what exactly it is you need and so on. So that was the point of that appointment, and she checked over my machine and she said that even with the pregnancy and the weight gain that comes along with it, my machine is still working perfectly for me, and she doesn't see the need to do another sleep study. She doesn't see the need to make any adjustments to the machine. So far, so good, which is really, really great news, because that's that much less that I have to do regarding all of that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the update for the week. So let me go ahead and open the app, because I haven't even opened it yet. Typically, I read it before I get to sit down and watch the video so that I kind of know what's going on. But oh my gosh, this just popped up when I opened it. So it says, second trimester enrollments to remember. I felt baby's first kicks. My bump made its debut. I mean, I know that it was probably mostly bloat, but I've been bumping for a while. and caught a glimpse of baby's face on an ultrasound. 13 weeks to go. Okay, so it says that at this point, the baby is now measuring 14.5 inches, which I think is what they said last week too. I might be wrong, but I feel like that was what they said last week as well. And it says her weight is creeping up the charts, coming in at around 2 pounds. That's double what it was 4 weeks ago. That may be true, but I also feel like they said it was 2 pounds last week also. I mean, maybe I could go back and review, but I don't know. Baby recognizes your voices. Your baby may recognize both your and your partner's voices by now. Her auditory development is progressing as the network of nerves to the ears matures. The sounds she hears are muffled. Yeah, but you know, she's hearing us enough that she can like recognize us now, which is pretty cool. It says this is a good time to start reading or even singing to your baby, or rather your tummy, and a good chance to start memorizing those nursery rhymes. I have a feeling that she's going to come out of the womb already like loving Baby Shark and Bubble Guppies songs and stuff, because I'm constantly singing those to Big Brother. So we already kind of have that, you know, that's already on its track. Your partner may be able to hear your baby's heartbeat by pressing an ear to your stomach. He's already told me that he's done that. So that's, yeah. Baby's eyes might open this week if they didn't last week. Baby tasting and hiccuping. Taste buds are very developed now. More than she will ever have outside the womb, actually. That's so cool. So if you eat spicy food, your baby can taste the difference in the amniotic fluid. Her meal times are different than yours, though. She's not going to taste things until about 2 hours after you eat them. That's wild. Some babies will even respond to that spicy kick by hiccuping. See, I remember Kiddo, like, he got hiccups all the time in utero, but I don't remember when exactly in the pregnancy they started to happen. Maybe about at this time. But I haven't felt little girl do that yet. So maybe it's coming, or maybe she's just a less hiccupy kind of baby. Who knows? 2 weeks ago, your belly was a soccer ball, and by 27 weeks pregnant, your uterus has swelled to the size of a basketball. It says nearly 3 in 4 women experience mild swelling of the extremities, particularly the feet, ankles, and hands. So far, so good, honestly. And I was just talking about that with my husband a week or so ago, that with my son, my ankles and my feet, especially my ankles, were super, super swollen for a lot of the pregnancy. And so far, again, that hasn't happened yet with baby girl. It's still possible. It's still, you know, there's time. But so far, I've been spared. Heat rash, I haven't experienced that, thank goodness. And then there's one more little situation here. Okay, yeah, it's talking about how the baby can hear us, the baby's hiccups. She's starting to develop muscle tone from all that kicking, rolling, and punching she's doing. I believe it, because it's been, when she is super active, it's been hard kicks. So that's been really, really fun and really exciting to like experience. And then the last thing here is, of course, our what she's as big as situation. So she's as big as a cabbage, apparently. As big as the Mad Hatter's hat. As big as the hamburger phone from Juno. And as big as a pair of kids' jelly shoes. That's just ridiculous, because kids have feet of all sizes. So how do you figure out what size your baby is based on a shoe? Like, that's, some of these are just out of control. Like, they're just so absurd. But yeah, we have 13 weeks to go, 1 week left in the second trimester, according to what to expect when you're expecting. And yeah, this is wild, you guys. I'm about to get into my third trimester. Like, it's right there. It feels like it's just right there. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Thank goodness, so far so good. I'm very emotional, and I'm starting to get really tired again. Not quite first trimester levels of tired, but pretty close. And I know that that's something that I was anticipating, and that's exactly why I was in such a rush to do certain things soon, you know, quickly, because I know that the farther along I get, the less I'm gonna want to do anything. But also, like, you know, we're crunched for time. We gotta get these things handled. So there is still a ton to do, it feels. But also, we're steadily checking things off the list, and I'm feeling good about the progress we're making. But I feel like this pregnancy, all things considered, has been so much easier and so much smoother than kiddos, at least from like a stress perspective, which I wouldn't expect considering everything that it took to get us here. But I'm just really, really grateful at where we are right now. And I can't wait to meet little girl, because obviously I want her to stay put as long as she needs to so that she's as healthy and strong as possible when she arrives. But I'm so excited to meet her and like get to know who she is as a person. And I'm trying really hard to not get emotional right now, but it's just been a lot. And I'm so excited. So thank you guys so much for being here. And next time you see me, I'll be squarely in the 3rd trimester. It will be official according to every resource out there. And yeah, I'm so excited. So thanks again for being here. Thanks for supporting me in this journey. And we will chat again next week. Bye. I almost left you guys without a belly bump pic. Bad vlogger. There she is.